All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Adrian Carmona, and welcome to yet another edition of the Varsity National Live Postgame Show. My name is Adrian Carmona, like I said, and very excited to be with you all once again. We have a lot of good stuff slated for tonight, a lot of postgame reports from high school football from all around the country, from Philly, Florida, Indiana. So, without further ado, let's just get right into it. We're actually going to start off now with Sabir, who's going to be giving us his post game reports. So, Sabir, how's it going? Sorry about that. We're having some technical difficulties there, but um, so we're going to transition over to Becky, who's going to be giving us some post game reports on Philly high school football. Becky, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing good.
Today I have the Northeast Vikings versus the South Philadelphia Rams. The Northeast Vikings are 6-4. The South Philadelphia Rams are 6-3. With a similar record, you think that this would be a close game, but you'd be surprised that the Northeast Vikings absolutely dominated the Rams, 46-6, which keeps them third in their conference. They've already lost two games against their current number one and number two teams in their conference. And with one game left of the season, it's looking like that's where they're going to be staying. The Rams are having a pretty good. The Rams, on the other hand, are having a pretty good season. They're actually 2-0 in their conference. I couldn't find anything on their rank in the conference, but unfortunately, they were on a 5-game winning streak when they met the Rams. So the Vikings completely ended that. But yeah, I think the Northeast Vikings are now ranked 198th in Pennsylvania, and the Rams remain unranked.
Wow, very good stuff. Well, thank you, Beckett, for your post game report. Have a good night.
Absolutely, you too.
All right, awesome. Thanks again for Beckett for giving us his Philly high school football recap. Now we're gonna transition over to Jameer, who's gonna be giving us his reports on Indiana high school football. Jameer, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, Adrian, I'm good. How are you?
Doing great.
That's good. That's good. All right. So I have about two games for you. Yeah. So first of all, I want to say, hey, everybody, Jameer from Varsity Sports Show, reporting from Indianapolis, Indiana, with Arizona State University and the Varsity Sports Show. So today we have a few Indianapolis and Indiana high school football games I'm going to be talking about. So tonight we had a matchup between the 10th ranked high school football team in Indiana. That's the Indianapolis Bishop Chatard Trojans versus the Indianapolis Crispus Attucks Tigers. So this game, it was a cold one, but it brought out a few hundred people out, to the Crispus Attucks football field. So there were no points scored in the first quarter, but in the second quarter, Indianapolis Bishop Chatard they returned a kickoff and then they scored another touchdown. Then in the second quarter, Indianapolis Crispus Attucks, they scored a field goal. So at halftime, it was 12-3. And Indianapolis Bishop Chatard was leading. However, in the fourth quarter, Indianapolis Crispus Attucks they scored a passing touchdown, making the score 12-9. And they had a successful 2-point conversion, making the score 12-11. So they made kind of a comeback. But in the fourth quarter, they with 1 minute left, they scored one more touchdown and they changed the lead 18-12. And Indianapolis Crispus Attucks, they won the game 18-12. And then next we had a duel against the 23rd ranked team in Indiana, the Roncalli Royals versus the Northview Knights. So this was a home game from Roncalli. So in quarter one, both teams scored a field goal, and it was 3-3 going into the second quarter. However, in the second quarter, Northview completed two passing touchdowns, but they missed both of their extra point attempts. And Roncalli, they scored two rushing touchdowns, but they scored both of their extra point attempts. So it was 19-17 going into the fourth. And then Roncalli, they I don't know, it was it was 19-17 going into halftime. But then after halftime, Roncalli's defense, they were superb and they made the Northview, they didn't score any more points the rest of the game. But Roncalli, they actually scored a 48-yard rushing touchdown and a 9-yard rushing touchdown, and the final score was 33-17.
Wow, a lot of good stuff over there in Indiana.
Man.
Yeah, well, Thank you so much, Jameer, for another great report from Indiana. I hope you have a good night.
Appreciate that, Adrian. Thank you. Have a nice night.
All right. So once again, that's Jameer with his Indiana high school football report. So now we're going to take it over to Sabir for his post-game report. Sabir, how's it going?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Adrian?
Doing fantastic.
That's good. That's good. I'm sorry about the connection. There's a lot going
Don't worry,
on
don't
in
worry.
Philly, but overall, so we have been following the team of the Arlington Trojans for a couple weeks now, and this week right now they versed the Frankfurt Pioneers. And you know it's been a rough patch right now. This is the sixth consecutive loss of the Arlington Trojans, and they lost against the Frankfurt Pioneers. And I'm not really surprised what's going on. They have to change up the defense, jump the offense, because right now the record is 1-9. And like I said, this is another loss for them. So they have to like change up and see what's going on. The coaching staff gotta see what's going on. But right now, they are not doing too good. The score was 14-0. One of the games they had was 69-0. So this is better than the game that they played before. So hopefully next week they'll pull through.
Yep, absolutely. Another great game for you highlighting us there. Thank you again for another report this week. Hope you have a good night, Sabir.
All right, you too, bro. Be safe.
You too. All right. So big thanks to Sabir once again for his post-game report from over there in Philly. Sorry for the technical difficulties before, but still got to do what you got to do. And once again, he gives us another great report. So we're going to actually transition over to Florida football, my home state, the motherland. Florida, once again, with these big matchups, as it's going on for all of high school football, as we hit week 10 of the regular season, a lot of these games are really important for playoff seeding and have a lot of playoff implications. So the biggest matchup actually that we got this week in Florida football was American Heritage at St. Thomas Aquinas. Both of them ranked within the top 10 in Florida for football. American Heritage, they were 4-4 going into this game. They're a very good team. Unfortunately, they just had an absolute gauntlet of a schedule to start off the season, but they get arguably one of the most impressive wins of the season as they took down St. Thomas Aquinas 42-38 on the back of their quarterback, Dia Bell, who had 4 touchdown passes this game. St. Thomas Aquinas did get out to a hot start. Really was just a shootout from the beginning. Aquinas was actually up 38-28 in the second half at some point. But once again, American Heritage backs against the wall. They show out. Malachi Tony had a fantastic game. For American Heritage, he got 2 touchdown passes. And he also caught the game-winning interception. Two-way player. He's been an absolute star for them this year and comes up huge once again in their biggest game of the season. And it's also a very big win for American Heritage for the reason is that it is now their first upset. Well, it was an upset win as STA was ranked 21st in the country. And it's also American Heritage's first win in school history over Aquinas. So very big news for them. And it was an absolute thriller from the jump. And yeah, just, another great game from over there. Also, IMG Academy, they won 5 games in a row. They won every game since their week 1 loss to Corner Canyon when they blew that 20-point lead, but they've completely turned their season around. One of the biggest storylines in Florida this year. They defeated the undefeated until now East St. Louis Flyers 14-13. It was just a defensive game the entire time. Both quarterbacks both offenses in general really struggling the entire game, but IMG made the plays when it mattered. East St. Louis was up 13-7 in the fourth quarter. They were up 13-7, but IMG came back. Eric McFarland caught a game-winning touchdown in overtime, actually. This game did go to overtime. Both teams scored a touchdown, but East St. Louis did miss the extra point in overtime when they scored, which proved costly for them as IMG went right down the field. Eric McFarland caught a touchdown, and then they made the extra point to win the game. So another huge matchup there. And finally, for my last game to highlight, number 8 Norland, once again dominating Plantation 37-20. strong defensive presence for Norland. They had a pick 6 to end the game, and they moved up to 7-2. I mean, they've had really impressive wins overall this season. One of the biggest storylines in Florida football. They have some big wins over ranked teams like Heritage and Cocoa. So once again, they're just having a great season, and it will be very interesting to see what they do come playoff time. Other games that happened, Chaminade, who's ranked number 2 in Florida, just took care of business against Cardinal Gibbons. They won 62-17. And yeah, just a lot of blowouts this week. Number 14 Cocoa shutout win over Astronaut 48-0. Manatee also had a shutout win. They're ranked number 17 in Florida. They won 41-0 over Braden River. So a lot of big games. That matchup, American Heritage and St. Thomas Aquinas, was the most hyped for sure throughout all through Florida, through all these games. And it really made for a treat. It was hyped for all the right reasons. I mean, we saw an absolute shootout, and overall just a great game. So with that, that concludes another edition of the Varsity National Live Postgame Show. My name is Adrian Carmona from the Varsity Sports Show, and just want to wish everyone a good night. And also a reminder to follow all of our social media, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. And we want to remind you guys to tune in at 10 p.m. West Coast time, 1 a.m. Eastern for the Varsity Live postgame show. If you were here for our pregame show, we will be giving you the recaps for all those games we previewed. So with that, hope you all have a good night.